Rolie felt a needle prick on his butt right through his panties, and after a moment he staggered to his knees. True, it was hardly the first time he felt a tiny prick in his panties, but this was certainly the most significant time. He felt funny, he was still very alert, but his muscles started to respond sluggishly to his will, and he found that he could no longer stand. He felt so weak, and very helpless. Shortly the once proud Marine slumped to the ground, barely able to move his head. His arms and legs were useless, with effort he could move them, but they did so without coordination or purpose. The Major knelt beside him and announced in a cheerful voice, "You are now baby Robin in Ruffles." As Robin in Ruffles lay on the soft rug completely limp and helpless, the demeanor of the women changed dramatically. The corporal spoke first. "Oh goodness, isn't she precious? Just look at her little nosy." The corporal touched Robin's nose and wiggled it slightly. The Major responded, "I could just cover her with little kisses. Let's get her to the doctor for her first checkup." The Major turned and called out to a Confederate, "We need Mommy's arms." Unable to turn her head, Robin could only listen to the sounds in the room. She heard a panel in the wall open and a whirring rolling sound from overhead. As it approached her, she became very agitated but could not express it in any way. All she could do is to wait passively while who knows what horror the WMs had cooked up for her got closer by the second. She tried to brace herself, but that was far beyond her paralyzed capacity. After a moment, Robin felt huge soft arms and a hand that must have been 5 times the size of her own cradle her head. She was nudged gently onto a second huge hand which slid up behind her until her body rested on it. The hand rotated Robin's head so that she was facing the ceiling, and began to lift her upwards off the rug. Now able to see what was touching her, Robin was shocked to see that a large robotic device was holding her up while suspended from the tracks in the ceiling. The base of the device held motors and servers, at least that was Robin's guess. It was hard to say because it was covered with a soft-colored yellow top, but the whirring of the gears, the hissing of servos, and quiet metallic sounds gave it away. There were pretty little flowers and baby animals gamboling across the expanse of its cover as would be expected in a nursery. Extending from this covering were 2 industrial-sized robotic arms, each covered with a soft synthetic flesh resembling giant human arms. Mommy's arms. As Robin's head was rotated by Mommy's arms, she saw that the Major had an electronic device in her hand. It was a portable controller station with an antenna extending from it. On top was a joystick and a series of buttons, knobs, levers, and sliders. The arms were computer-controlled with feedback from a series of cameras and sensors in the arms, hands, and main body. Much of the work of controlling Mommy's arms was done by the software. The operator controls gave macro instructions and made some fine adjustments. The overall effect of the device was the simulation of a mommy of a size relative to the adult baby that needed handling. The adult baby's body was just too heavy for a woman to lift and carry around from station to station. It helped to preserve the illusion of the adult as an infant, as well as serving as a comforting psychological device to salve the adult infant's subconscious needs. Mommy's arms easily and gently scooped up baby Robin and smoothly transported her to the soft brown Naugahyde-covered cushions of the examination table and laid her down, taking caution to support her head, which Robin hadn't the strength to hold up herself. The pretty nurse appeared in Robin field of vision and looked down at her with a beautiful glowing smile. "Aren't you so precious? Oh, you are so precious, you are, aren't you? Aren't you? Yes you are a pretty little baby girl. Are you my ickle baby girl? Yes you are Mommy's ickle girl." Robin wanted to reach up and strangle this cloying goddess of candy. She would escape this, he would regain his strength, and he would come back here with the full force of the United States Marine Corps, and he would take them into custody for kidnap and torture. Even if she could talk, she couldn't say a word because of the rubber phallus strapped in her mouth. All she could do was to lay there and pray they didn't stick bamboo into her and light her toes on fire. Such a thing was the farthest thing from their minds. The WMs had recruited their most kind and nurturing personnel for this task, and they were operating under orders of highly trained psychiatrists. Their task was to lovingly coax the little girl out of their charges, and they were frighteningly good at it.